Hello, fellow classmates. I'm sending you my update and checking in at the beginning of this summer class. First of all, I'll give you a quick update on my career path. I am no longer working full-time at Fort Hays State University. Partly as a result of the COVID-19 epidemic, my one-year appointment was basically no longer needed. But I was lucky and found another job. I'm going to be teaching English at our local high school for the fall semester. My family's doing well. If you might remember, I have 3 kids, and they all made it through homeschooling with flying colors as far as we know. We finished up our last day on Friday. And I did bend and get a new puppy as a result of the COVID-19. We had an older husky who is still a wonderful dog and still a part of our family, but we are now the proud owners of a German Shepherd named Jasper, who's 10 weeks old today. So also wanted to kind of update you on how the pandemic affected my career at Fort Hays. I was forced, as most professors, as far as I know, all professors were, to move all of my classes to online rather suddenly. We were dismissed on Friday, March 13th with the news that we would probably go through the next week, which would get us to our spring break. And then after spring break, we wouldn't be coming back. But then when we arrived at work on Monday, they said, no, we're not going to do that. After all, we're going to go home tonight. You're required to check out of the dorms tonight to our students. So we kind of slapped together an emergency plan and went home, and I've been home ever since. I haven't been to Hays since, I guess it would be the 16th of March. And so we've just been holding up here in Quinter, and we've got our little masks, and we're, trying to take all the precautions that we can. I also would like to comment on what I hope to get from this class. I think that's shifted quite a bit since the pandemic changed the way we view higher education. So first of all, I need to refresh my repertoire of teaching techniques, especially related to possible shifts to quickly go online. Word is that we're going to start as usual at the little high school where I took employment, but that we should be prepared to shift to online at a sudden notice should there be a resurgence or a lot of cases in our community of COVID-19. So that's something that I definitely would like to brush up on. I noticed that there's a couple of chapters devoted to teaching and technology and that kind of thing, so I'm looking forward to that. I also noticed that one of the objectives in the class is to hone our own personal philosophy of education. I have been in education now for 27 years. This is the last part of my 27th teaching year. And so, of course, my teaching has evolved a lot. And I've noticed that my teaching especially has come to focus more on the basics than it ever did before and social justice than it ever did before. And I think I have a better understanding of how to relate with the students the older I get, which is kind of odd. You wouldn't think that would be the case, but I seem to. And then thirdly, after I kind of hopefully adjust and rethink my philosophy of education, I would also really like to stay abreast of the current issues. I think that's something that's going to be changing a lot in the next years. I've been reading so many articles, in addition to the one that was assigned to us, about how education will look in the fall, not just higher education, but all education in general. And since I have kids in school, and since I'm a teacher, I really have just been interested in this issue. So I think maybe one of the things I'd like to get out of this class also is to grasp what education is going to look like in the future. I know that's probably not possible at this time. We don't know. There's so many things up in the air. But I would like to look at what other universities are doing, what other high school systems are doing, how rural education is going to be different than urban education and those kinds of things. So there's been a lot on my mind as we've progressed through these last couple of months. Going back to updates on my personal life, we have what we now call the COVID deck. My husband started building a deck, which was supposed to be a fairly moderate-sized deck on the one side of our house, and he has just kept building. It's monstrous. It's the biggest deck. When it's finished, I'll have to send pictures to you all because it fills up half the yard. I'm going to have a lot less mowing in the future. So I guess those are just a few little updates from my life, and I hope that all of you are doing well, and I look forward to listening to your updates as well.